here in Long Beach, California, in the tea house, in the yoga room, and today we're being joined by Sean Mirza. Sean is a really good friend of mine. We go all the way back to high school, and Sean is also an athletic trainer for the NBA Development League. So he works with strength and conditioning, and then he also works with sports medicine. So he's very versed in how to make your body function properly and to enhance it. So today, Sean is going to teach us some enhancing skills, starting with some breathing, and then he's going to show us where a transverse abdominis muscle is, and then he's going to show us 3 exercises how we can strengthen that muscle to create a better and stronger back and have less lower back pain. So Sean, take it away.
Before you do any core exercises, if you have any pre-existing conditions or pain right now, and anything hurts at any point, stop immediately. Everything we're doing here should be pain-free, okay? First thing and most important thing that we all need to do, we do every day, is breathing. As a baby, a neurodevelopmental skill is breathing. When you watch a baby breathe from a side profile, they fill their belly up like a balloon in through their nose and out through their mouth. What we've come accustomed to is being in front of a desk all day, our shoulders get rounded forward, we sit in front of computers, and we become chest breathers. Okay, so that doesn't accentuate all the proper muscle structure. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you guys some ways to focus on and learn proper breathing techniques. So, okay, what I want Susie to do is put her hands right on her belly, okay, and she's going to take a deep breath in through her nose and fill her belly up like a balloon. So I should only see her hands rise and then her hands fall as she breathes out through her mouth. Her chest should not be moving, it should be all belly breathing. There's so many muscle structures that compose the core. Everyone thinks the core is just abs, but it's not. It's the erector muscles along your back, it's your hips, your shoulder girdle, it's all connected. Before your feet and your hands can do anything, your whole torso must be stable. So breathing is just the most foundational skill that we need to do properly before we go on to anything else. The next thing we're going to do is equally important, is finding pelvic neutral or spinal neutral. Okay, spinal neutral is when all 3 parts of the spine, the cervical spine, the thoracic spine, and the lumbar spine are in a neutral position. Okay, so what I want Susie to do is I want her to take a deep breath in and draw her belly button down toward the ground. With that, she's going to feel her pelvis tilt. When she forcefully exhales, she's going to feel her pelvis tuck. The key to finding pelvic neutral is finding the midpoint between your tilt on your inhale and your tuck on your exhale. There should be a little space underneath her low back when she does find that neutral. Your back most likely will not be flat against the ground in a pelvic neutral position. Third is going to be locating and engaging your transverse abdominis muscle. Transverse abdominis is the deepest ab muscles, and it's what we call it's almost a girdle. Okay, it goes right around our organs, rib cage, and low back. And so what we need to do is locate this muscle, isolate it, engage it, and learn how to do that. And the easiest way to do that is you're going to take 2 fingers on each hand. You're going to put them right next to your belly button. You're going to draw your fingers out 2 inches and straight down 3 inches. So you should be right just below your waistline, okay? Now what you're going to do, Susie, is you're going to just barely start to pick up both your feet at the same time, your whole feet, and then you feel that muscle engage, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, and then put them down. Now what I want you to do is don't pick your feet up off the ground, but just start to pick them up off the ground. So her feet aren't even coming off the ground, but that muscle is engaging. That's the foundation before you start any core activities, are those 3 things: proper breathing, pelvic neutral, finding, locating, and engaging the transverse abdominis. Okay, the first exercise we're going to do is bridge with alternating kicks. Okay, so she's going to go ahead and bridge up. Her hands are flat by her side. Her feet are at 90-90, and her lower leg here is in line with her heel. What she's going to do is she's going to find that pelvic neutral, activate her transverse abdominis, she's going to bridge up. Notice how she's in a straight line here. Now she's going to kick out her right leg, and see her keeping a straight line. That's exactly what we want. She's going to pull that back in. She's going to kick out the left leg. She's going to pull that back in, and then she's going to go down and she's going to reset. That's 1. Again, 20 reps for every exercise we do. The next exercise is called dead bugs. Okay? Dead bug is going to be laying flat on her back. She's going to bring her hands straight up at 90, and then she's going to bring both her hips and knees to 90-90. Notice here, she's at 90 here and she's at 90 here. What she's going to do next is find that pelvic neutral, activate transverse abdominis, and then she's going to drop opposite arm, opposite leg, and then she's gonna pull them up. And then do the other side. Now notice she has good form here. She keeps this right where it needs to be and right where this needs to be when she drops the other one. What we don't want is when she comes down, we don't want to see these come in or these drop down. We want them to stay perfectly how they were. Okay, from this position, notice where her hands are. Her hands are directly under her shoulders. Her knees, her hips and knees are at 90-90. She's gonna find that pelvic neutral, so she'll get a little bit of sway in the back. She's gonna keep her head up and looking forward. What she's now gonna do is she's gonna alternate this shoulder flexion and this hip extension. Most important part is keeping the sole of the foot up toward the ceiling. She's gonna feel a little pinch right here above the glute. She's gonna come back in, knee to elbow, and she's gonna do 10 on that side. All the way up, good. She's keeping this bent and heel up. Great, so she would do 10 there. Go ahead and switch. And she's coming in, knee to elbow. And notice how she's not tilting here. We don't want to see a tilt. We want to keep this pretty flat. And that's great. Okay, so those are the 3 basic exercises. Two things, hips and hamstrings are gonna, hamstrings, and hip flexors are gonna cause your pelvic to tilt. If you have really, really tight hamstrings, they're gonna pull your pelvis backwards. If you have really, really tight hip flexors, they're gonna tilt your pelvis forward. Okay, so what I wanna look for on Susie is, I wanna check her external rotators of her hip, okay? It's called the piriformis muscle. And what we're gonna do is, I'm just gonna grab her here and I'm gonna bring her in to 90 degrees, or you tell me when to stop.
That's good.
Okay, so right here, this is great range of motion. She has perfect 90 degrees. Most people, what you're gonna find is they're only gonna be about here, which is similar, even most of my athletes are only about here. But she spends a lot of time stretching, doing yoga, and those type of things that probably led her to be able to be this flexible. Okay, so what you always wanna do is compare bilaterally, or each side to each other. So now we're gonna check this left side, her non-dominant side, and we're gonna do the same thing. Go ahead and tell me when.
That's good.
Okay, not sure if you can see this angle, but she's just a few degrees less on the left side, which is very common. Okay, but now she knows that, and that's something that she can work on a little bit extra when she's at the gym. Okay, and then we're gonna test her hamstring flexibility. Note that I'm holding down this leg with my knee, straightening this leg, or straightening this knee, and then moving forward into hip flexion.
That's good.
Okay, now again, great flexibility. Right here is 90, that is average. Okay, so if you're past 90, great. If you're not, if you're here, just know that you need to work to get to 90, which is gonna improve your flexibility and your low back pain. Okay, couple things to note. I'm not rotating her foot out, and I'm not bringing her out to the side. Foot's pointed forward, knee is all the way straight. I'm bringing her up into hip flexion.
That's good.
Okay, what we do is 30-second holds. 30-second holds for every single stretch you ever do for the rest of your life. They've done studies that show any stretch held less than 30 seconds does very little to improve the extensibility of the muscle tissue.
Thank you so much for coming out, Sean, and giving us these great tips. And he's going to be back, so make sure you work on these things so that when you come back, you can keep enhancing your body every time.
We'll build off these, absolutely.
Awesome. All right, everybody, have a good day.
Thanks.